This webinar is titled News. It's not a source for wisdom. Again, Professor John Somerville provides us some thoughts. News is an unreliable or even a detrimental source of wisdom. News is also an unreliable source for developing character, perspective, and impact. People imagine that it is a sort of substitute for books or a shortcut to wisdom, but news is the opposite of books. It's an inoculation against culture and reflection. If we want to regain wisdom and an active intelligence, it will mean getting over the idea that news makes us wise. The importance of things cannot be told in 20-second sound bites. The importance of things can only be understood in the context of history, the context of cultural heritage, and the context of the passage of time. On average, there's probably just 1 or 2 news stories a month that are important enough to follow, to understand, and to act upon. Now here's an interesting test. Look back on the last month and see if you can decide what one news story was important enough that it actually will affect the future. And then ask yourself these questions. Have you engaged with that story? Do you understand the story beyond a 20-second soundbite? What are the ramifications for you, your family, your children, society, your city and country as a result of this story? What action are you going to take? You might find that one news story fits this requirement, or you might find that none do. Well, again, the end result is that news will never provide us with wisdom for living. It gravitates toward the sensational. It displaces the important. It always gives both sides of an issue without providing resolution, so it keeps us tuning back in. It's alarmist, so you will actually pull away from important things, and the result is that it keeps you in a constant state of anxiousness. It works against life wisdom, always keeping you from being able to make a conclusion on something. Have you ever considered that a news story printed on a paper page or digital page works against you as compared to a book? You do not go off with just an article from the news like you would with a page of poetry, scripture, or a chapter in a book that you might read and contemplate, and then put it away and get it out the next day or next week and read it again and contemplate it again. No, right now your brain is like a sieve, with news pouring through it. Start reading something substantial and you will lose all interest in watching journalists just read a teleprompter. Pick up a book today and start some mind building. Well, news is not a necessity of life. A lot of people in our advanced societies do without it, hearing only snatches of the media's haphazard selection of subjects. But culture is a necessity of life, or at least for a society. Therefore, I challenge you to get wisdom. Getting wisdom is the most important thing you can do. Whatever else you get insight. I hope this has been some helpful thoughts on news and the fact that it's not a source for wisdom. This is U.S. Civics Training. Thanks for listening.